I'm sure that we have had a discussion on where the civil services in India is headed. To keep up with the spirit of the deliberations, we have a beautiful book for this session. This book is titled Scaling Mount UPSC. It details the story of 7 young IAS officers who have battled all odds to emerge victorious in the civil services examination. It has been penned by Sajjan Yadav sir, an officer of 1995 batch of IAS, born on Agmutkader. It's a pleasure having you here, sir. Welcome. So as I saw the cover page of the book, Scaling Mount UPSC, I could not help remembering Tenzing Norgay's statement. A mountain has 1,000,000 stories to tell. All you have to do is to listen. And all of us know that the UPSC Mount has around 1,000,000 stories to tell every year, because around 10 lakh aspirants compete at the preliminary stage. And out of these 10 lakh, it's only around 1,000 who find a spot in the final rank list. So as I saw the term Mount, 2 thoughts intrigued me. One, once you scale the mount and reach the summit of UPSC, you will understand there are still mountain ranges to be climbed and conquered. Second, it's not the mountain that you conquer. It's yourself. So I think I'll start from there. Sir, I'm sure that this name, Scaling Mount UPSC, has a deep, ringing philosophical context to it. So why and how did you land upon to the name Scaling Mount UPSC?
Thank you, Haritha. So, as you know, the Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. So, that Mount Everest inspired me to title my book as Mount UPSC. Because the journey to scale Mount Everest is very similar to what you have performed and what I have gone through and what 1,000,000 people every year go through. What it needs. First, it needs a dream. That you need to have a dream to scale Mount Everest or to scale Mount UPSC. Second, the dream itself is not enough. Second comes the confidence that yes, I can do it. Yes, we can do it. If you lose confidence in the very beginning, you can't scale any mountain. You can't scale Mount UPSC. You can't scale Mount Everest. Third is determination to do it against all odds, against all failures, against all setbacks. Fourth, you need a planning and a proper strategy to climb Mount Everest, and you need a strategy and a planning to climb Mount UPSC. Then the hard work and sincerity. All of us have gone through that, which all the aspirants I'm talking about, even Haritha, me, and lakhs of others. So you need to be honest with yourself that yes, you are preparing. You are not just showing off to your parents that you are preparing. You are preparing seriously. You are preparing sincerely, honestly, and some kind of skill sets which are needed for every mission. So that is the true for both the mounts. So because there are so many similarities in climbing Mount Everest or in becoming successful in civil services or the failures which it teaches both the sides. So the journey is very similar in a metamorphical way. So that's why I kept the title as Scaling Mount UPSC.
Very realistically and beautifully portrayed, sir. So the book spans stories from across India, from Kashmir to Kerala. Here, the stories are also diverse. There is Lavish, who has given up on the American dream and come back to in pursuit of civil services. There is our own Minu, who was happily working with the police department until the UPSC bug and the spark got ignited by one of her seniors. So I'm sure this is not the first book that has been written on civil services, and this definitely would not be the last. But the book stands out for its variety, for its depth. So how did you decide, sir? Why did you decide to write a book about the 7 inspiring IAS officers? And how did you actually go about the selection? Because each story is varied, and it is evident that much of thought has gone into the selection of the stories.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good question. So, Haritha, and as all those present here know, that every year, lakhs of people, they aspire to become IAS, IPS officers. Every year, they have dream. The crores of youth in the country, they have a dream to become an IAS officer or other civil service officer, I would say. But for many of them, a large majority, it remains a simple dream. They can't go beyond just having a dream that, yes, I will someday become a civil service or an IAS officer, because they don't have the confidence. And especially those who come from rural areas, from challenging backgrounds, from humble families, they can't gather that kind of confidence whether they can do it or not. As soon as they start having that dream, a number of questions surround them. Would I be able to do it? There are so many people, intelligent people in IIT, IIM. There are so many rich guys who are doing it. There are so many young guys who are aspiring for it. Whether I'll be able to do it or not. So that erodes their confidence. So they don't move forward even to filling up of the form for the civil services. And then those who fill up the form, 10 lakh fill up the form, as Haritha has told you, but only I think 6 to 7 lakh appear in the examination actually. The rest drop out because of lack of confidence, because of lack of guidance. So they drop out. And many of them who even appear don't get the right kind of environment, right kind of motivation, right kind of guidance. Second, it is a very, very grueling journey. As you have experienced for 3-4 years, I have experienced and others experience. So every aspirant, successful or unsuccessful, goes through that phases of depression, that feeling of failure. He goes through that, he has to cut himself off from the social media, from the family, from other things, and bear the taunts of family members, sometimes college friends, sometimes college teachers. So my aim of writing this book, or my inspiration for writing this book, was to motivate lakhs of aspirants in the country who have this dream of becoming an IAS officer, but they don't take that kind of step to move it forward because of lack of confidence. So I have selected people from very, very humble backgrounds to show that yes, the other people who are getting successful are just like you. Their family background is just like you. They have not, all of them have not studied in IITs. They have studied in normal colleges. Some of them were average students in the school or college, but they could still do it. So that people get motivated. And the second purpose is to provide them important takeaways from every story, important, I would say, success mantras, important cautions while they are preparing. So I want to tell all these to a large gathering or large group of people, large group of dreaming aspirants. So I have the chapter 8 in this book, which is Becoming an IAS Officer, the Success Mantras, which tells you about different stages of the exam, what to be careful about during your preparations, how to approach each stage of the exam, be it prelims, mains, or interviews. And also in the appendix, there is a list of books which these 7 heroes of the book, they studied, the notes and books and other periodicals and newspapers. So that without going to a coaching institute, you get sufficient guidance to appear and to write this exam, and not only write this exam, but become successful.
Great. So, some stories are meant to be told. Some stories are meant to be written. And in this book, you'll see two stories which stand out. One is of Anjali, who became visually challenged when, she got a brain TB. She fought against all odds and emerged victorious in civil services examination. Second is one of Bharat, whom I know sir knows personally, who was living in the domestic help quarters as his mother was a domestic help with one of the IAS officers. It was his resolve when he declared that I'll soon be shifting over to the bungalow one day. And he emerged victorious. So, sir, beyond UPSC, I feel that there is an underlying story or a thread which connects all of these stories, and that happens to be one of grit and determination, which is relevant not just in UPSC, but in any walk of life when you're pursuing a passion with all your heart. So the book is relevant not just for UPSC, but in all walks of life. I would really like to hear your thoughts about it, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So first, I would be very happy to tell some more about Bharat. Bharat is one of the heroes of this book, and he was born in the servants' quarter of an IAS officer. And they were, when he was about 3 or 4 years, they were thrown out of that quarter because that quarter was vacant for some time. The next officer did not occupy the quarter, so servants can't live without the main officer staying there. And then he landed up in the servant quarter of another IAS officer. And fortunately, that IAS officer is me. So he landed up with us. His mother worked with us for 6 years. And this boy, it's a really very inspiring story that from that servant quarter, he went on to become an engineer through his hard work, through help of his family, determination, all that, and got a good job in Tata Motors. So that was a very big jump. And most of us would have got satisfied that, yes, I have become an engineer from a servant's quarter, and from such a humble family, now my family status has risen. But he took that risk, and he was bold enough to give up his job after 1 year and prepared for IAS. So similarly, story of Anjali, a girl who lost her eyesight when she was in class 10th because of brain TB. She was living in remote area of Sikkim, and it was darkness all around. Obviously, when you are born visually challenged, it is different. But when you are seeing everything for 16 years and suddenly it's all dark all around, then it is very, very difficult to kind of live life, in fact. So she became so much dependent, but just because of her great determination, she completed her schooling, she completed her college, then decided to forego post-graduation and pursue the IAS dream. And with the help of YouTube videos and audios, basically audios, she prepared and became successful. So all these stories, they don't only tell us about how to prepare for the exam, how to become successful in the civil services exam. They tell you the mantras for becoming successful in any career you aspire for. Be it a sports person, be it an artist, be it a dancer, be it in corporate sector, like we had a session just before us. So every success in every field, every successful candidate has those qualities. Those qualities are, I would, at the cost of repetition, say, first of all, you must have the aspiration. Because without aspiration, nothing will motivate you, guide you. So first is your dream or aspiration. Second, again, I would say, being confident with yourself, being honest with yourself, prepare strategically, have your goal very clear, because that blurring of goal doesn't take you anywhere in any field. So just like Arjuna in the epic Mahabharata, so you have to see the eye of that fish or the eye of the bird which you have to aim for. So you have to be very clear focused and you have to work with a purpose. You can't just keep working hard, but you have to first purpose in mind. What strategies would take you there? What kind of efforts will take you there? What sort of guidance will take you there? So those are also very, very important. And another very important thing is dealing with failures. Because just before the session started, it was told that the failures are stepping stone to success. And that's really true. Most of the aspirants, they have failed in one stage of the exam or the other. Sometimes they clear all the three stages, get some rank, but in the next prelims itself, like snake and ladder game, they fail and become zero. But they have not given up because of the failures. They have made them learning lessons. They have made them stepping stones to success. They continued their hard work. They continued with greater determination. So that's true for every field in where you want to pursue your career, where you want to achieve your dream.
Yes, sir. So just the previous session, we were told about India's forex reserves and human capital. And we have someone from the Ministry of Finance who deal with the daunting task of managing the finances of this country. And we are speaking about scaling Mount UPSC. And I'm sure everyone in this room would really have a question. Is this scaling worth it, sir? You have had 30 years of experience in civil services. So on behalf of all of them, I pose this question. Would you say, with 30 years of experience, that the scaling was indeed worth it?
Definitely, I can say very clearly, very emphatically that this scaling of Mount UPSC, the hard work which when I had put in for 2-3 years into scaling this formidable mountain has been very, very rewarding. As you have said that scaling Mount UPSC or reaching the summit is only a beginning to achieve more, to scale more mountains. And the kind of satisfaction, the kind of opportunities you get in this service, IAS, these are immense. People talk about other avenues. Definitely, they are good. There should be multiple avenues. There should be freedom of choice. There should be that economy has opened up and they are very lucrative and satisfying areas of work. But still, the kind of variety which IAS gives, kind of opportunity to serve people which is provided in this service, the kind of the level at which you can bring out a change. So that is unparalleled. I have worked in many states because my cadre is Arunachal, Goa, Mizoram, and Union Territories, in short called AGMUT. So I have worked in the remotest part of Arunachal, in Tawang district and in other districts. And I have worked in Mizoram, I have worked in Delhi, Daman and Diu. So the kind of satisfaction which each assignment has given us. And there are so many things to tell, and IAS officers are famous for telling that when I was DM, I did this, when I was DM, I did this. This is because that is a very, very big platform as a collector to make change in the lives of people. And I have done my part also in many places. I will not bore you with details. But starting from the SDM, that sub-divisional magistrate or sub-collector or deputy collector, which you call, where you have the entire subdivision where you can implement schemes better, where you can bring about change in lives of people, then to the district, then to the department, like you are heading a very important department. I have also worked in the Women and Child Department in the ministry. So it is huge opportunity. So, and then you work in corporation and you feel very good. I'll just tell one example. I was in Arunachal as a collector in one of the districts. And when I reached there, I found that there was one tribe which was slave of another tribe. So they were literally slaves, not being given food, not given any remuneration for work, no shelter. They used to live under the trees. And I decided to work for them. We liberated 5,000 members of that tribe, almost that was the population. And we then separate village houses we made. We inhabited a village, especially in earmarked land for a village. And we had a separate village for them with all the facilities, with education and other things. And that kind of satisfaction you carry throughout your life. And people there, I was there in 99, 2000, so it has been 25 years, and people there still remember me. So that is, and in other places as well. So that is the kind of satisfaction you get because you are able to work for the people. Second, whatever work you do, the canvas is huge. See, early in the SDM or collector, it is one district. But as you become senior, you become the head of a department in the state. So whatever you do impacts the entire state. Whatever policies you make impact people of entire state. And when you go to Government of India, then the canvas is the entire nation. So whatever policies, each word which you write in the policy may make a big change on the ground countrywide. So that is the kind of opportunity which is there in this service. So I really am very happy and I love being in the service, and I still say that it is worth scaling Mount UPSC.
Yes. So, sir, yesterday when we met, we were speaking about the union budget and how you couldn't sleep the previous night of the budget. Same is the case with some of my colleagues here. Yesterday was our state budget. So, you have a very demanding job. You have served as collector, you have served in departments as varied as heavy industries, women and child, and now finance. But you have never ceased to learn. You have a master's in public policy from University of Minnesota. You have an MBA. You have a doctorate in public health. So your interests are varied. Your previous book was on India's vaccine story, and the present one is on scaling Mount UPSC. So I would be really interested in understanding what writing entails for you. Is it about creating? Is it about expressing? Is it about, the catharsis, as we say? What does writing mean to you, and how deep does it resonate with the person that you are?
So first I'll deal with the first part of your question. When I entered service, they were in the academy, someone remarked, one of the faculty members, that in an IAS officer's home, you will find only one book. And that book is the civil list, where you have the seniority. So they just keep looking at that book and who is senior to me, who is junior to me, and when I'll get this scale, when I'll get that scale. So it was just an anecdotal thing. But I decided there that I will not stop learning. So throughout my career, I have made it a point to learn more things because you have to be updated. You can't be satisfied. There should be a hunger for more learning, and that is there inside me. So I did my MBA, then I did my master's in public policy from Minnesota University, then I did my doctorate in public health, and right now I'm pursuing law. So that is one part which I keep doing. And second, this writing is a very good way to give it back to the society, I would say. Apart from your own personal growth, own personal development, it teaches you the skill sets to write, to skill sets to express yourself, but it is a way to give it back to the society in terms of if you write even your experiences, how you handled a particular problem, how we handled COVID. If you will see that even we handled such a big pandemic, but there are not many good documentations of how we did it. What were the strategies employed? How we prevented it? Finally, we defeated it. So my book on India's vaccine growth story tries to do that, tries to document for the posterity how we prepared for that pandemic and how we defeated the pandemic. So similarly, other experiences are very, very valuable. Even the failures are very, very valuable to learn. And if you are into writing and into this kind of academic bent, then you also don't waste your time here and there. So then, as you say that the mind should be, that empty mind is devil's workshop. So then you just loiter around, you just kill time. So it's better to use your time. I would not say ki everyone should start writing. If you have passion for writing, write. Otherwise, do some social work, do some work for the community instead of wasting the time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So we spoke about the statistics. Around 10 lakh fill in the application, out of which only 1,000 emerge victorious. So out of every 1,000 people who dream of writing this examination, only one makes it to the finalist. So, and it's an arduous climb. What would be your advice to the around 999 who will have to come back to the base camp and start or decide whether to start all over again?
So, my first advice is that don't feel that you can't do it. Even if you have failed twice or thrice, don't lose that kind of confidence. You can do it. Always feel that kind of confidence. Keep telling yourself, keep manifesting that yes, you can do it. And there are many people who have done in the third attempt, fourth attempt also. So you, and every failure in this exam will teach you where you failed because the marks are published. You get to know where you have failed. So you learn from your failures, revise your strategies, press the restart button, and get going with greater enthusiasm. So first thing is you will be successful. That is, you have to think that way, you have to feel that way, you have to work that way. Don't waste precious time thinking that you will fail. So I have done that. Probably I could have kind of achieved or submitted it in the first attempt, but I was not confident. I also come from very humble rural background. So when I appeared in my first prelims, after that I thought I won't be able to do it, clear it. So I wasted 2 important months. In those days, the result used to take about 2 to 2.5 months. So I wasted. I just didn't do anything. So then when result was out, I found that I've cleared the prelims. So then I started mains. So after mains also, there was same sinking feeling. I won't be able to clear. But still, again, I cleared it. So again, I wasted time in between. So first is, even if after appearing in the exam, you think that, no, you haven't done well, don't give it up. Don't give up. There are so many chances available. Second, this exam, even if at the end, because of your luck or because of some lacuna in preparations you are not able to achieve, this exam tells you, teaches you a lot. It teaches you, first is your knowledge. You have to study everything, so you have an in-depth knowledge of every field. Second, it teaches you strategizing, it teaches you dealing with failures, it teaches you how to plan things. So that kind of thing which are relevant in every field. So some, obviously there are limited slots and some candidates won't make it through, but they find a lot of other opportunities, and after this grueling exercise of 1 or 2 years, they are better prepared to go forward, achieve in different fields, be it state service, be it corporate sector, be it other areas of work. So don't give up, don't think you will fail, have confidence, work hard, work sincerely for that. But obviously there is some element of luck as well. So if you are ultimately, the luck doesn't smile, but you are a much better person, much evolved person, you are much better prepared to deal with challenges of life.
Yes, sir. So I'm sure that there was a session on whether our services is headed in the right direction today morning. It is the age of AI. You can very well ask the chat GPT to prepare a beautifully worded letter for you. You can get AI to reason out why one decision should be better than the other one. And as young aspirants, our youth aspire to create, to add value in whichever sphere they work in. They have umpteen number of options as well. So I would really like to understand your thoughts on how relevant is civil services in the age of artificial intelligence.
I would say that civil services is still relevant and it will remain relevant. Only thing is, civil servants have to change as per the as society evolves, as technology evolves. they can't remain in their same old mold. Otherwise, they will not be able to perform. They will not be able to do justice to their job. So whatever new things are coming, new things keep coming. Now it is the age of AI where artificial intelligence can do a lot. But you have to learn those tools, use those tools to your advantage, use those tools to improve your efficiency. If earlier you were taking half an hour to write a letter and now you can do it in 2 minutes, then use that time productively for the benefit of people. And as we evolve, as we progress, the expectations of people are also high. The kind of service which we can deliver is much better than what we used to deliver or we delivered earlier. So use all these tools for better service delivery, use all these tools to make change in the society, use all these tools to perform better, to have a good governance, better approach. So definitely there will be artificial intelligence tools and other things, but we have to make use of them productively. It won't affect, I would say, jobs in any sector. Only the nature gets changed. It is not the basics which get changed. Thank you.
All through these stories, we can see support structures playing a very important role in the way a candidate faces the challenges in civil services examination. So, what would be your advice to the young aspirants? What kind of a support structure should they try to bring in when they are aspiring to crack civil services?
I would say, first of all, it's very important to have support of the family, because this is not a journey of individual. It is journey of the entire family of the aspirant, because the aspirants will need their support every time, their motivation every time, their reassurance every time. I have seen examples where lot of parents after one attempt discourage the child, or even initially also they discourage the child. So one should not do that. Even the siblings, they should encourage when your brother or sister is preparing for the exam. So that is one thing. Second is, it's very important to have a small group, not very big circle of friends, but a very small group of like-minded friends who are also preparing for the exam or who can give you right kind of advice. And using the latest tools, you can collaborate in making notes. Like I have written the story of Shruti Sharma, that she had a very nice small group in the university, and they used to make notes using the Google Docs. So one, they assigned topics to each other, and one person prepared notes on one topic, other one prepared on other topic, and then they discussed it together. Similarly, if you have a healthy kind of a competition, where if you are feeling depressed or you are feeling that I'm not doing well, so where people support each other, or if you are becoming lethargic, the other person comes and motivates you or starts writing a mock test, then other person also gets motivated. So this kind of support from peers, from family is very, very important. But one should also be aware that the time is essence in this. So one should not have too many people, either for guidance or for kind of chit chat or other things. And third is, don't take advice from anywhere, because there are so many civil service gurus which are all around. And especially in the hubs of these aspirants, like in Delhi it is Rajendra Nagar, Karol Bagh, in Mukherjee Nagar, and also Trivandrum also there are so many coaching institutes and areas. So be very focused and have very focused advice from very limited number of people.
Yes, sir. And I believe this support structure is something which drives us forward in the journey after CSE as well. So now I think it's time for us to take questions from the audience. The floor is open. You can ask queries and yes, please.
Sir, myself, Dr. Deepthi. I'm a specialist in early cancer detection and prevention. Sir, you have done a lot with the vaccines, especially through your books. So, what is your take about HPV vaccination for cancer? And the access to the HPV vaccination is very less, and even the awareness is not at all there. So, what is your opinion about that, and how can we spread this awareness about the HPV vaccination, especially to the women?
Okay, not related to the topic, but still I'll try to answer. So HPV is vaccine is very, very important for prevention of cervical cancer, which affects the girls and women. So it's very important to take the HPV vaccine and get secured or safe from that dreaded disease which is there without a cure many times. So, and there are always some people will spread misinformation about vaccines, or they are anti-vaxxers. And these anti-vaxxers are not new. The first vaccine was discovered by Edward Jenner, and since that time there are pro-vaccine people and anti-vaccine people. So, and these anti-vaccine people, sometimes the drive against vaccine is based on facts, where there could be some problem with any particular vaccine. So that is okay to bring it to light. But most of the time it is based on misinformation or misgivings. And the kinds of misgivings are like vaccine will make you, is there to sterilize you, or it is there to finish a particular race or community or anything, or other things like that also. So my answer short is, yes, you should take vaccine. It is very, very important to prevent you from cervical cancer.
Social media affects the attention of students and diverting the attention to some other area, and is affecting the preparation for examinations like civil service. What will be your advice to students?
I think my advice is shut the social media for few months. When really you have plunged into it, then at least for a few months, no social media should be there. That is my personal advice. There are other ways to learn, and I have written in my book also, there are aspirants who decided not to have social media. Most of them cut it off. If in case you are using it, use it for some information exchange like WhatsApp group. If you have a small group with your fellows, or you want to do mock interview with someone who is not at a remote location. So use those things selectively to your advantage, but please avoid other things like reels and other tweets and social media. Everyone is there in social media. I am also there to promote my book on social media. But serious aspirants, my personal advice is you should avoid social media.
Sir, I have a question. Many a times we see open dialogues happening between IAS officers and the people on the governing front or the political leaders. So do you think that this sort of political influence is kind of a deterrent for IAS aspirants? The reason I ask is I have one of my relatives who is academically very well. I often tell her to pursue a career in IAS. But then she says, you're seeing all these news, see how there are people around to shackle them. I don't want to be in such a thing. I want a space where I can work freely. So I wanted to know what would be your messages for such people who think that a political influence could be a deterrent in what you want to accomplish in the area of administrative service.
Okay, good, very good question. So first thing is, all the aspirants and IAS officers have to understand is that this is democracy. We are a democracy. Democracy is will of the people. And will of the people is expressed through elected representatives. An MLA in a constituency represents will of people of that constituency, and similarly MP. So, and secondly, they are the people at the grassroots level. Sometimes we get away from the grassroots or the ground realities as we climb up. But the political functionaries, they know where it is pinching for the common man. So we should not take them as adversaries. We should take them as our complementary partners who are bringing a different perspective on the table, and who that would help us in designing better services, in designing better policies. And I would say with 30 years of experience, no politician will stop you from doing good work. They want to do good work in their area, be it chief minister, be it a local level politician, because when there is good work at the ground, people are happy. So if as officers, we should not go for taking credit, going for to the social media, telling what we have done. We are a silent bureaucracy and we should take feedback from everyone. It gives you a lot of satisfaction. So try to avoid that kind of conflict is sometimes there. I have also sometimes found myself in that situation, especially in the early part of my career, because we go straight, we are not that mature, we go straight from academics to a very big assignment, a big role, and there you think that you know everything. So that kind of attitude in some of the officers that you know everything and other person doesn't know anything should also not be there. So we should work hand in hand. We should not kind of agree to their unreasonable demand, anything which is not there in the rules. But still, within that framework, there is still enough opportunity to make that kind of change. Please tell your friend not to get demotivated by what she hears. That is very selective and sometimes given with a purpose. So there is a lot of scope to do well in IAS and other civil services, even with the political functionaries who also want a change on ground.
Sir, my question is based on the mental health issues that often UPSC aspirants face. There are many statements that had made that people often feel this exam takes a huge toll of mental health, and they often face this kind of mental issues after second, third, and fourth attempt because they have to again restart. So you have qualified in the first attempt, and then second attempt. So it is not as much as too far. So those who are willing to qualify as soon as possible, and they have many fear, like a fear of missing out and missing out any kind of things that they have studied, and the fear of the rigorous selection process and the wide range of syllabus. What is your basic advice for this kind of fear that comes before this examination?
See, every candidate at some stage or the other fails or gets that feeling that he would fail. And in these stories also, almost every candidate at some stage started crying or thought of giving up. Satyam Gandhi, who got through in the first attempt, just 3 days before the exam, he broke down and said, I thought that he will not be able to clear. He told his parents also. Shruti Sharma, who topped the exam, in that very attempt, after the interview, she was in tears that she has not done well. So that stage is there, but what it requires. First is don't ignore your health. Though it is very tough exam and you have to study very hard, 12 to 13 hours a day, but still find some time for yourself. Do jogging or do yoga or do some meditation. That is important. Okay. So second, obviously you have to be mentally tough. That you have to see, whenever in our mind we have neurons in our mind, and the neurons sometimes they are like two parties, opposition and the ruling party. So there will be a debate going on in our mind. One set of neurons will say, I am not going to do it, I will not be able to do it. Other set of neurons will say that no, I am definitely going to do it. So you have to kind of through practice make those neurons more powerful and more in number, which tell you positive things, not only about cracking this exam, but also in every part of your life. There's always that discussion going on in your mind. So always try to make those neurons or those thoughts, which are positive thoughts, stronger in your life. And then have someone who can help you in these kind of your ups and downs. Sometimes your mother, most of the time, who will be, or one of your friends. Some people even also start, like Bharat Singh, when he was not doing very well, his mother took him to temples, places of worship. So that kind of exercise also helps. But I totally agree with you that is a tough exam, and there is a feeling of insecurity. I myself faced that insecurity when my friends were climbing up, they were completing their masters, and I was stuck at the bachelor's, and I thought that if I fail, I will be behind them at least by 2 to 3 years. So that kind of insecurity creeps in, but you have to be mentally tough and take care of your health.
Yeah, I think I can add to that. Sir has very beautifully spoken about how to have your anchors right, a place where you can go back to, either a person or something which can interest you, and two, keep your passions alive. Whatever it is, like which you do in your free time, whether it be singing, drawing, writing, reading, keep all your passions alive so that you have the anchors to go back to. Next question, please. Yes.
We generally find that, district collectors do marvelous jobs. You yourself have freed a whole tribe from slavery. Even here, during the 2018 floods, the district collectors did a fantastic job. So, but do you feel that you have more power as district collectors than as additional secretary? Because you find that as you climb up the ladder, people are more bothered about their promotions and places of postings, and that the job that they're supposed to do about serving the public, that peters down.
No, I would put it in a different way, or probably Haritha can answer it also better. So I would put it up in a different way, and that way is that when you are on the ground, like a sub-collector or a district collector, you are able to see the change before your eyes. So that happens faster, change happens faster because it's a smaller area. Like if you want to, I talked about slavery, but if you want to, say, increase enrollment in your district, and a district collector can transform that kind of situation. So that gives you more satisfaction, that satisfaction makes you remember your whole throughout your life that you did that work. So most of the IAS officers talk about that what they did as collector or district magistrate, but the opportunities increase as you climb up. Then you have the entire state where you can make a change, but it is more vertical then. If you are health secretary, you can bring a change in health. If you are education secretary in education, or WCD, then women and child nutrition, other things. So that kind of satisfaction is there, but sometimes you don't feel that change happening so fast. Sometimes because the canvas is bigger, it takes time for the change to happen, and probably it happens, but not that remarkable change within your tenure. So you feel good, but you don't feel that great as you feel when you are a district collector, because the change happened quickly before your eyes. And when you go to Government of India, I have served 2 tenures, one as director and this one as joint secretary and then additional secretary. Then again, bringing that change within the limited time period means initiating the change and culmination of change. That cycle gets further bigger. So probably because of that, people don't recall or remember fondly what they did at a higher level, then they recall what they did as subdivisional magistrates and as district collectors. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I would like to add, sir, because Madam pointed out 2 specific instances as well. As district collector, the officer on the field happens to be the most visible representative of the administration on the field. While we were tackling COVID, I know that the health secretary and the team used to have daily conferences with the district collectors to sort out each and every issue that arises in the field. It's just that as collector, the officer on the field becomes very visible to the people. Whereas, as you progress in service, you get back to the curtain and pull the strings from behind the curtain so that the impact would be visible, but you will remain behind the curtain. So as secretary, Government of Kerala, you have a very wide role. Your impact is also visible, but since collector is the most visible and the nearest person or representative of the administration to the people, it's often in the name of the collector that we remember any initiative, whereas I'm sure that there is a big plethora of, support system which supports the collector from behind the curtain. So that's also a reality. As we progress in service, we become the quintessential bureaucrats who are often invisible. Thank you.
Good perspective.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. In both of your careers, there must have been moments where you've been under the spotlight and where you've had to make tough decisions. So I wanted to ask you if you could state some instances where those tough decisions might have influenced a government policy and how you handle the pressure at that point of time.
See, you have to take tough decisions, but that is part of your game, part of that your role. And see, nowadays people are little scared of taking decisions. So that is the problem which is plaguing many offices. Because then there is RTI, then there are agencies who are, there can be cases, complaints, so officers feel more vulnerable. My take on this is that if you are honest, if you are doing bona fide work, you must take the right, means you must take decision. Sometimes decisions may be wrong also. Tough decisions are both ways. That's why they are tough. They can be right, they can be wrong. But don't be scared of taking decisions. There are many instances when you have to, it takes time for you to decide what's to be done. But don't be scared of taking decisions, because that's how you succeed in life. Failures also teach you, and no one can do anything against you if you are bona fide, if you are honest, if you are working properly for the government.
Yeah, in fact, I would add an instance. I would not name the place, nor would I, name the nuances of the incident. But if, I'm talking about Forest Rights Act. And I'm sure the one who took a very proactive stand there, along with, the collector there, is sitting amongst the audience as well. The forest protection, the Wildlife Protection Act and the forest regulations may decide based on strict number of years whether the tribal population residing inside the forest is liable to be given Forest Rights Act. Okay. So the question arose whether we'll interpret the legislation in its strictest term, denying forest rights to the people who have been living there for long, though they don't have any documentation of their land there. Or should we interpret the law to take a pro-people stand to give forest rights to the people who have been residing there in the forest for a considerably long period of time? We got together, we took the decision that we need to give forest right, and it took quite a lot of collectors and sub-collectors, right from two officers who were predecessors of mine and two officers, successors of mine, to finally decide that the state is giving forest rights to the people there. So there are such instances where you may have to go against the letter of the law and uphold the spirit of the law. So and once it was done, though I was away doing my election duty, I was probably the first one to be informed by the tribal extension officer there. And I called up, I think I was the one who called up quite a lot of my colleagues, telling them the good news, the big news that finally it has been done. So that's it. Many a time you may have to uphold the spirit of the law, understanding completely the legislative intent rather than sticking with the letter of the law. Thank you. I believe that the time is up. So thank you, sir. It was a very enlightening session for all of us, where you detailed the journey along with presenting us inspiring stories of young officers who have made it big from humble backgrounds, and that resonates deeply with the philosophy of every walk of life. Thank you. You have been such a wonderful audience as well.